So Brian Ortega is the number 3 ranked featherweight in the world. He's ranked higher than the next challenger for the championship, Ilia Topuria, which makes absolutely no sense in my opinion. Brian Ortega has not fought since July 16th of 2022, where he lost to Yair Rodriguez. Before that, it was September 25th, where he lost a championship fight against Alexander Volkanovski. And then his last win was October of 2020. You know what happened on that card? Fucking, this card was that long ago that Thomas Almeida was still in the UFC. James Krause was still known as a UFC fighter. He wasn't known as a fucking gambling, a controversial gambler who ended up destroying gambling for every UFC fighter. You know, Guram Kutateladze had beat Matthias Gamrot. John Phillips was still in the UFC. You know, this card was that long ago. Like, the UFC is completely different. Like, yeah, it's insane. Like, it's generally insane. I'm pretty sure this was before... Was this? You know, this was before Sean Strickland even made his comeback to the UFC. He fought again 2 weeks later. And Brian Ortega is still ranked number 3 in the featherweight division. He is 1-3 in his last 4 fights. He is inactive. His last win was against the Korean Zombie, who is now retired. You know, he's only got... You know, he's got so much inactivity. He's lost... Like I say, he's 1-3. Why is he still ranked number 3 in the UFC? Are they counting that 3? Like, have they mistaken the 3 losses for wins? Do they think it's 3-1? Like, this guy doesn't fight. He hasn't got a fight booked this year. Hasn't got anything lined up. Was in talks to fight Giga Shikadze. Never ended up happening. Like, look at this. Like, Max Holloway number 1 makes sense. Yair number 2 makes sense. Like, Arnold Allen and Ilia Topuria are higher ranked than Brian Ortega, in my opinion. Arnold Allen only lost to Max Holloway. Like, he only lost to Max Holloway. He had good wins. You know, he beat Cater. He beat Dan Hooker. I know Dan Hooker wasn't ranked in the featherweight division, but he was ranked at lightweight, so, you know, you got to add some weight to that. Ilia Topuria dominated Josh Emmett. Like, it was fucking not even close. He beat Bryce Mitchell. In that time, Ilia Topuria beat Bryce Mitchell and Josh Emmett. Brian Ortega hasn't even fought. Not even had a fight. Not even had a fight booked. And he is number 3 ranked in the division. Like, what has this guy got on Dana White? Like, he's got to have something fucking on Dana White to be this high ranked. He doesn't even bring any real big value. He's not like a big name or anything. I get he's marketable, I guess. You know, like, they don't even have Modelo to fall back on anymore. They've just announced that Bud Light or Bud, whatever the fuck it's called, is it? Oh man, I don't know my American alcohols. Bud, what is it? Bud Light. Okay, yeah, it is Bud Light. I thought like Bud Light was like the, you know, like the lesser version, like the Bud Light. You know, like how there's Coke Light and all that sort of shit. But anyway, back onto this. You know, he can't even fall back on Modelo anymore because the UFC are not sponsored by Modelo. So, like, has Brian Ortega lost all of his marketing, like, power now? Like, I don't get it. This guy needs to have a fucking fight booked. At least, you know, when was the last time Leon Edwards fought when he was kicked out of the rankings? You know, they kicked him out of the rankings for inactivity when he was meant to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Before he was booked against Khamzat Chimaev. So, Dos Anjos, it was a year. Yeah, so it was a year from his fight, which would be around this timeline. He got removed after a year of not fighting because it was booked for December, and he got... Let me actually get a correct timeline on this. Leon Edwards removed from rankings... Let's see. October, like literally, it's been past it. It's past it. He didn't fight in July. He fought July, sorry, not 2019, which was more recently than Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega last fought the 16th of July, and Leon Edwards fought the 20th of July, and then he was removed the 22nd of October. It's the 25th of October. Brian Ortega's been inactive longer than Leon Edwards was, and they haven't removed Brian Ortega, but they removed Leon Edwards temporarily from the rankings. Like, how does that make any sense at all? It doesn't make any sense. The UFC, I'm telling you, they fucking play their favorites, and it really pisses me off. What does Brian Ortega bring? I get he's an entertaining fighter. He has a very fun style, but what can he bring when he doesn't fucking fight? You know what I mean? Like when the guy is not out there and he's not scrapping, he's not fighting people, he's not booking fights, he's not even a good trash talker, man. He doesn't bring anything charisma wise. He's a when it comes to like trash talk and everything, he's so there. Yeah. Fuck the belt. I'm coming for his head. It's like he talks like a fucking slowy man. He talks like you know, talks like he's just huffed a fucking some paint or something. Like he just sounds like he's always out of it. Like what does he bring? He doesn't bring any crazy trash talk. Like yeah, that was a cool line when he said that to Volk. Like yeah, fuck the belt. Like outside of that, what's he ever done that was cool? Like he's a no homo. He's a good looking bloke. I get that. Me and him, we share the beautiful blue eyes. But like, what does he bring? Like, he's not bringing in the female viewers. I don't think we're gonna see droves and droves of female viewers because of Brian Ortega. Like, the guy's got a nice face, but he's got a bit of a soft body. So he's not bringing in the female audience, I doubt. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Who knows? But like, what does he bring to stay the third ranked featherweight? Conor McGregor got removed from the rankings. Conor McGregor has got removed from the fucking UFC rankings. He's a much bigger star than Brian Ortega. I think he fought like almost the same, like a week apart as well. I could be wrong on that. Let me double check. So I know he fought in July of 2021. Might have been the week before Brian Ortega's fight. Yeah, it was the week before. Like, how does Conor McGregor get removed from the rankings? I get he was losing. He lost 2 fights. Brian Ortega lost 2 fights. If I'm not saying that Conor McGregor should be ranked. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going on that little rant there. I'm just saying, like, Conor McGregor was 1-3 as well, but Brian Ortega is to stay number 3 in the rankings. I don't understand it, man. There's just such a clear bias. Like Cerrone and the Korean Zombie were probably sort of similar level around that time. I get the TKZ did go on to beat Dan Ige, but still he went on to lose his next 2 fights very brutally. I get Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, 2 best featherweights, but still, I don't know. It makes absolutely no sense why the UFC are just like letting fucking Brian Ortega hold his number 3rd ranked featherweight spot hostage. Like, Habib Nurmagomedov has a more recent win than him. Pat Miletich has fought more recently than Brian Ortega. Like, Pat fucking Miletich, who retired in 2008, has fought more recently than Brian Ortega. Who else is there? Who else can I think of? Fucking Anderson Silva's fought more recently in boxing than fucking Brian Ortega. Like, I don't know how any of this makes any... Tito Ortiz has fought more recently. Fucking Tito Ortiz. Oh, wait, maybe I'm wrong on that, actually. No, wait. Yeah, never mind, I'm wrong on that. Yeah, sorry, I forgot. That was 2021. But still, my point stands. Like, there's so many legends that have fought more recently than fucking Brian Ortega. Like, come on, man. Like, what does he bring to get to stay and hold that spot hostage? Remove him from the fucking rankings. You removed Leon Edwards for sitting out longer. He was on the cusp of a title shot. It made more sense for him to sit out. I didn't like him sitting out. Don't get me wrong. I fucking found that very annoying. But Brian Ortega's on a losing streak. Like, he has more reason to be kicked out of the rankings than Leon Edwards. But he's still in there just holding it hostage. Yeah. You know, like, he's just sitting there in the fucking rankings like, I'm the number 3 ranked featherweight. Like, do something! You know, get a stick. Poke him. Fucking get in there. Fight. Do something. Fucking, I don't know. Like, come on, look at all these other guys who could be in that spot. You know, Kelvin Cater could fight Brian Ortega when he comes back. You could get Shikadze if he beats Josh Emmett versus Brian Ortega. Bryce Mitchell could fight Brian Ortega. Edson Barboza could fight Brian Ortega. You know, there are so many people he could have fought. But he just sits out. Like, I'm sure his shoulder is perfectly healed by now. Let me go check his Instagram. What is he doing on his Instagram? Brian Ortega. Like, he's training. Like, he's always showing that he's training. He's just doing some jiu-jitsu on his Instagram. Real talk. No, I'm not going to listen to that shit. Like, I don't know, man. Like, he posts a shit ton of shit, but he's like, he's just not fighting, man. It's just annoying. I find it so fucking annoying. Like, this is why the UFC are talking about making like a top 15, top 20, because obviously their rankings aren't good when there's people sitting on their rankings for this fucking long. Like, why does Brian Ortega fight once a year? How does he always get away with that shit? Like, why is he not slowly moving down? He should be, if he's going to be ranked at all, he should be like at 8 or something. Like, you know, people who are staying active should be rewarded, not fucking Brian fucking sit on my spot City Ortega. Like, fuck, I don't know, it's ridiculous. The guy, he's got Dana White privilege. You know, Brian Ortega, he's got that fucking genuine, bona fide Dana White privilege that Tony Ferguson was talking about. Because there is no other absolute logical reason for this man to still be ranked. Let me look up what fighters. Like, Zach Cummings has fought more recently than fucking Brian Ortega. Zach Cummings has a more recent win than Brian Ortega. And he's retired. Like, does fucking Clay Guida have a more recent win? I think Clay Guida has a more recent win. Like, I know Brian Ortega beat him. When was his last win? 2022. Clay Guida has won more recently than Brian Ortega. Like, just wow, man. Just wow. How? Like, how has it got to this point? Fucking... I don't get it, man. Like, I get he has a really fun style. I do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just hating on Brian Ortega for the fun of it. I like his fight style. He does have a very entertaining fight style. Like, it's always entertaining to watch. He's always in bangers, always slugging it out. But like, fuck, man. Like, just I don't know. It's ridiculous. Like, we see it all the time, and I'm always gonna call out Dana White privilege when I see it. You know, Israel Adesanya is Dana White privilege. Conor McGregor obviously has Dana White privilege. Michael Chandler's got Dana White privilege. Just all these fighters have like. Even Hamzat Chimaev has a bit of Dana White privilege, if we're being honest. Getting a title fight while he's ranked at number 9, if that does happen. Like, I don't know. It just gets ridiculous to a point. Like, don't get me wrong, I like big fights being made and everything, but when you let these guys just sit out and fucking waste their prime, it does annoy me. Colby Covington, another case of Dana White privilege. You know, he gets to sit out and get an instant title shot, but yeah, I don't know. Dana just really plays his favorites, and it is really fucking annoying. Like, at least make these guys fight for title shots. Like, I guarantee you, if Brian Ortega was to go on and win another fight, they would probably give him a fucking title shot because they love him. They love Brian Ortega so much. Like, did it even make sense for Brian Ortega to get a title shot for beating the Korean Zombie after coming over a career-altering beating from Max Holloway? I do not think so. That could also be another reason why he's so inactive, because whenever he loses, besides the Yair fight, he always takes a fucking beating and a half. But, yeah, I don't know. he needs to get back in that cage already because yeah, he can't just sit out while there's other guys in there like Ilia Topuria, Mozvar Evloev. Who I'm not. I don't think he will be top five. I could be wrong on that. I don't think Evloev is as good as people say, but he should. He should be ranked higher than Brian Ortega. At least he's staying active. Brian Ortega's doing nothing. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. T City's got to get his shit together. Fucking get a fight or something. Stay active. Fight. Protect that. Defend that spot. Defend the number 3 ranking. How are you the number 3 ranked featherweight in the world when you don't even fight? The sport evolves quickly. The more he sits out, the more these other guys are going to evolve. Like Ilia Topuria would have taken his head off. I feel like if they did fight when Ilia Topuria was calling him out, calling him shit city. But I don't know, man. We'll see if there's any of these fights eventually happen. I say the winner of Emmett versus Chikadze should fight Ortega, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all I've got to say. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know your thoughts on Brian Ortega's inactivity, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.